my wife has she taught me something. She's very, very spiritually wise and loving person. She says, John, it's so much simpler than you make it out to be. And I said, well, how is it so simple? She says, well, just love everyone all the time. No exceptions. That just simplifies everything. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to love this person. I'm mad at this person. I'm not going to love them. And this person's a monster. I'm going to judge this person. Then you're always trying to sort people into these categories. If you just generally try to love everyone, that means being present. It's less of an intellectual than it is of being present and being in that moment with the person and trying to see them through the eyes of love. And that doesn't mean that you are naive or that you get taken advantage of. But as you said, everyone has a story. One thing that's kind of helped me, and this is from my Course in Miracles study, but I'm studying it since 1984. The Course teaches that when we sleep at night, we dream. What's weird about that, if you think about it, it's like we're having a dream, so we're the dreamer, right? But have you ever had a dream that you weren't in the dream?
No.
No, me neither.
I'm always the star of my
Exactly.
dream.
You're always the star of your own dreams. Well, who are those other people in the dream that seem to be acting independently of you? And yet, you're the dreamer, but they seem to be independent. That is very bizarre if you think about it. Mm-hmm. And the Course teaches that when you wake up, you're just waking up to another dream. You think you're waking up to reality, but no, you're waking up to another dream that you're creating. You're the star in your own dream. All these other people seem to be acting independently. But in a sense, your attitude towards them, the way you choose to see them is oftentimes the way that they end up showing up. Mm-hmm. So I play this little game, and the little game is, can I be present and loving enough where I can shift that person's energy, to have them in a better and happier place? And, I sometimes lose that game, but it's a game well worth playing. Because most of the time, if you're smiling and you're radiating love, people open to it.
Yeah, you're not taking it personally.
Exactly. But in any case, like if you're asleep at night, have you ever had what people call a lucid dream?
I think maybe once, but
yeah. So in a lucid dream, the difference between a lucid dream and an ordinary dream is in a lucid dream, you realize in the dream that you actually are dreaming. Oh my gosh, I'm dreaming. Mm-hmm. And then an amazing thing does happen, which is, whatever you want to have happen in the dream happens. Once you realize you're the dreamer, you can make it whatever you want it to be. It's not any different when we're here, mm-hmm. when we wake up, when we think we wake up. When we can make this a lucid dream.
Yeah.
In this moment, we can choose love. We can choose a loving reality. And the dream shifts. Our dream shifts. The world, we help other people to wake up to who they are, also beings of love. I really do think that the purpose of life is to awaken to who we are. And who we are is pure love. And then to help other people to wake up. And then they help other people to wake up. And then humanity's waking up.
Yeah.
That's the happy dream.
I'm beaming smiling because I totally agree. And I look at that awakening as a remembering. Like when soul enters a body and comes out the birth canal or whatever, we forget because we're all of a sudden in this like 3D matrix. And to awaken is to remember that. And so when I hear people talk about near-death experiences and they go up to this other realm, they're experiencing that love and that all-knowingness and a single point in time. And I'm just like, if we can have that experience or understand that and know that we're going back to that and we never die. And Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, also wrote this children's series. And it's just stuck with me. And I try to remember this when I encounter someone that has wronged me or whatever. And it's that game that you play. But it's like you're about to incarnate and God's like, okay, who volunteers to come and be your enemy in this life, basically, to teach you this lesson that your soul needs to evolve. Mm-hmm. And like the best friend volunteers. So it's actually in the other realm, you like love each other. And in this realm, I'm like, okay, so this person is my best friend in the soul realm. Like, okay. So it helps me. That's my game I play, like to remember.
I like that. That's a good game.
Yeah.
I might add that to my bag of tricks.
You should check out those kids' books. They're pretty profound. So yeah, but I just love it because we talk about life is but a dream. I honestly think row, row, row your boat gently down the stream is like
I always have loved
profound.
row your boat.
Profound. That's all we need to know. It's like there's a current of life. There's a dharma that you came in here with. There's the river. And a lot of us like start to paddle upstream thinking we're supposed to be something else. And that's painful. That's tiring. And so if you just like let the current flow and practice these practices and learn
You're also rowing. You're not just
But you got to row, which is that forward momentum on the bike, right? It's literally, that's all you need to know is row your boat gently down the stream.
It's a pretty spiritual song.
That's it. So let's talk a little bit about mistakes and learning, because I think as an entrepreneur, people don't realize how many mistakes you make. And I think that the sooner you can learn, I was raised in an environment where I thought mistakes equate stupidity and lack of worth.
Yeah, most of us are taught that.
Yeah. And so now I've been learning through life, and my ex-husband, like, oh no, mistakes are part of success. And the sooner that you can fail and fail forward, the faster you can achieve what you want to achieve. So talk to me about your experience of mistakes, and are you learning new mistakes? Are you experiencing new mistakes? Or can you take what you learned with Whole Foods and it just perfectly applies to creating love?
No, exactly. I'm making new mistakes with Love Life. And I'm repeating some mistakes that were so long ago that I've forgotten the lessons, you might say. I do think we grow through mistakes, but I will tell you a funny story. I was talking about that back at Whole Foods. This is 25 years ago. We were going through a rough patch. And I remember talking to one of my leaders, and I said, these mistakes are, this is what teaches us and helps us improve and helps make us better. And Patty was her name. She looks at me and says, I'm tired of getting better. Can't we just not make some mistakes for a while?
So good.
I thought that was really hilarious.
All need a Patty.
Exactly. She'd heard all that she wanted to hear about growing through mistakes. Let's just grow.
Yeah. Can we nail it for a while,
exactly. Please? So I think that one of the secrets to success in life is to be willing to admit that you're making a mistake so you can reverse course. I'm also a long distance backpacker, so that's why I do a lot of hiking metaphors. And one of the things I learned through hiking, and this particularly difficult lesson for many men to learn, because we don't like to ask for directions. We don't like to admit we're going the wrong way. And it's when you're on the wrong trail, turn around and retrace your steps. Or when you think you're lost, go back to where you last knew where you were. And so I think that's a good metaphor. We are going to make mistakes, but if you continue down the path because you can't admit that you're making a mistake or that you've made a mistake, you are, and your ego is so determined to prove that you're right and not wrong, that you can do damage to yourself and to your organization. So I've always been, I never thought admitting I was making a mistake. In fact, it humanizes you to the rest of the team to a certain extent. It's like, oh, he makes mistakes too. Yeah. He's not perfect. So you're setting an example also by if you mess up, fess up. And so I think that is a way to accelerate our growth. And by the way, if you're not making any mistakes, one of two things is happening. Either you're playing it way too safe, or you're lying to yourself. Because I find that in some ways I make mistakes almost every day. I mean, just in terms of like, oh, that word was, that's what I just said was misinterpreted. And I didn't intend it that way. But then again, maybe I did intend it that way, because why did it even come out? So there's an opportunity to self-correct and to ask for forgiveness, apologize, let's start over. So I think that, a lot of the best entrepreneurs that I know of can course correct relatively quickly. And entrepreneurs, we're going to try things. You try a lot of things and you find out what works. This is working. Let's do more of this. That's not working. Maybe we should do less of that. And then you sort of are course correcting all the time. They say when you shoot up a rocket, you're saying sending a rocket to the moon, it's off course almost all the time. They're constantly having to correct the course to keep it on its path, but it's not like it stays on the path all the time. It's getting off track, and then you have to correct it. So I think as we go through life, we're going to get off course. We're going to forget at times. We're going to make some mistakes. But once we become aware of it, we can choose differently and we can get back on course.